Cool. So, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Reese. I'm a lead account manager here at BGL. I've been here for just shy of 6 years now. And we're here to kind of talk about CAS 360's features, including annual review process. We'll go over a couple of other things as well. But yes, the core topic here is our annual review process. So we'll just go a few things in general housekeeping. So all attendees are on listen only. So if you have any questions or you want to comment on anything, please use the Q&A down the bottom. We have a couple of guys in our CAS 360 team, in the learning team, who will answer any questions. I'll also try to answer anything if we've got time at the end. But otherwise, yep, we cannot hear you. And make sure when you are asking the question, you don't just leave it there, you click send. The webinar will be recorded. And once we're finished with the webinar, give it a day or two, and we'll send out the recording to everybody who is registered, and you'll have a copy of that. It'll also be uploaded onto YouTube for anybody's usage at any time. Just quickly, we are on our third last topic for the education week. So it's been very successful so far. We've had lots of people attend and ask questions, so it's been really interactive. We've got the annual review one today. We've got managing trusts tomorrow morning, and then finishing on the enhancing compliance with BGL Smart Docs. That one will actually flow quite nicely with the annual reviews because it will touch on the automatic reminder process in a bit more detail. I'll only touch on that closer to the end of the webinar. Again, just going over the weeks that we've had. We're on our last final stretch now with CAS 360, but all the webinars and videos that were completed for Simple Fund and Simple Invest will also be uploaded onto our YouTube channel. Currently, the Simple Fund and Simple Invest ones are online, so if you have time or want to learn more about what we've gone through, feel free to jump onto YouTube and have a look at those videos. So just quickly, what we'll go over today, some basics, including what an annual review is, and the purpose of an annual review, and how kind of CAS 360 will assist with those three main steps. The annual review screen where we process them, actually completing an annual review. We'll brush on how to complete a bulk annual review as well, and then making sure that it's all finalized. Managing the annual review deadlines with CAS 360, and then of course preparing an RA61 and 71, which can assist with misinformation in CAS 360. So just quickly, what's an annual review? So most people here, I'm sure, are aware that it's just a yearly assessment by ASIC to just make sure that the company's details are correct, and to confirm that the company's ability to pay its debts. The three main reasons for these annual reviews, like I just mentioned: verify the company's details. So we're talking about, the shareholders, the officers, and address. We're also making sure that that if the data is incorrect, that you can perform 484s, and using CAS 360 to avoid any late fees. So up to 1 month, we're charging $96. And then over 1 month, ASIC will charge a late fee of $401 plus the ASIC fee. So it's important to make sure that any changes that are needed to be made are done pretty promptly. Again, CAS 360 will assist with that. Step 2, to pass the solvency resolution. Obviously, you do not need to lodge a past solvency. If, however, it fails or is a negative solvency, you do have the ability to lodge that where needed. And then, of course, ASIC's favorite thing is paying the annual fees, which we also have a debt reminder system within CAS 360 to make sure that you're reminding your clients that there's a fee outstanding and to avoid any upcoming late fees. We, of course, also have the document reminders for the annual reviews, but again, that will go into more detail at a later date. So the annual review screen itself is where I'll jump into CAS 360 so everyone can see what I will be talking about, but we'll be looking specifically at the annual review alert, the agent forms, and then completing an annual review. So just jumping into CAS 360. I just want to make sure that everyone can see the product. Just let me know if you can't. So many people here might be pretty familiar with this screen. It's called our company selection screen. I'll just go over a couple of basics here before we jump into the annual review. One thing to note is that this is obviously a testing environment, so everything that we're performing and generating isn't real data, and it's not really coming in from ASIC. They are pre-prepared documents, so it's something to just keep in mind when we are looking at what we are producing. So the alert here is the main source of information to notify you of the annual review being uploaded into CAS 360. We have a nice little traffic alert system here. Green meaning that the annual review has successfully come into CAS 360. We do this automatically, so there's no need to run any documents or forms. CAS will upload it automatically. We'll also notify you of one coming up within 7 days. So if it's due, what are we today? On the 24th of October, you'll get a nice little orange alert there notifying you it's upcoming, and you might make any changes or just triple check to make sure that the data that CAS 360 holds is correct. And then lastly, we have the annual review date has passed and no annual review has been received. So this is a pretty important notification. What this is basically notifying you of is the client has most likely moved to another agent and you are no longer the agent for this company. This could be a 362 was performed in the back end. Maybe the company went insolvent or deregistered directly with ASIC. Lots of different reasons, but this is telling you that you're no longer the agent for that company. We do run the 71 for this company after a few days, so after 3 days, I believe, off the top of my head, and then we'll run it again a few more times just to make sure that there wasn't like blockage between us and ASIC. But as I mentioned, more than likely it's because this client has moved to a different agent. We don't need to go into too many more details on this screen, but what I will do is just jump into the annual review screen. There's a couple of ways of getting into that screen by going via the alert or just the review tab on the left-hand side. So from here, there's a few things to take in mind straight away. Firstly, we'll touch on what the bulk processing feature looks like. So you may do this for a director that has multiple companies with the annual review due with all within like a similar time frame. So you might select all, prepare the documents, proceed. It's this is because of the comparison report, which I'll go into more detail in soon. And then we can see what the templates that it's selecting for this client. I won't go into too much more detail in the bulk process as I really want to just focus on the actual completing of a annual review. So we'll unselect those and we'll have a look at the comparison that we've got here. So these two companies, what is occurring here is we're comparing the data in CAS 360 versus the data in ASIC. So the reason that this client has, my company here has failed is for a few different reasons. One, the company name is incorrect. So this is obviously a pretty big issue in a real scenario. So you probably wouldn't be able to just click and select and edit the company details. But however, that's the way it works with like an address. So you can just ad hoc add the information and save it, and it will pass the comparison. But of course, it looks at all other sorts of things. So you can see that my personal address is incorrect. So I can just, if CAS 360 is incorrect and ASIC is, I can just update my data in here. Sorry, let me just make sure I get the right one. And then it will pass that piece of data straight away. Of course, if CAS 360 has the right information and the ASIC database is incorrect, this is where you would need to generate your 484, like I mentioned, within that time frame to avoid any late fees. You can still you still can generate and process a annual review, whether it's failed or passed. So for this scenario, we will continue on with our annual review. This screen here is called the document production screen. It is our most common screen when doing any sort of document, any document package. You will see this screen, and many things are similar for each type of document, whether it's a 484, annual review, trust documents, whatever it might be. Here, we won't worry about talking about the cover letter, but we will go into a little bit more detail on the difference between the annual company statement and the ASIC annual statement. The annual company statement is a document that is created by BGL. So this is a BGL CAS 360 document. It can be templated, it can be edited, and will generate all the information that CAS 360 holds. It also has a signing field, so that it means the director or the signatory on the other end for your client needs to sign this document. It also does not include the ASIC invoice. So here you can see I've got the ASIC invoice as a separate document, and it's toggled on yes. The reason we have the ASIC invoice separated, it allows you to send the invoice to a billing contact, which may be stored within the company details. Or you may include the ASIC fee in your own invoice. So if you're uploading your annual fee to your client, you might include the ASIC fee in that invoice, and you pay on behalf of your client if you're feeling generous enough. So there's a few reasons why we don't include the ASIC invoice as part of the annual company statement. And then, of course, we've just got the normal ASIC annual statement. This is something that you would have seen generating any other annual statement, whether you were using the portal or another product at any other time. For the sake of our demonstration today, though, we will be using the annual company statement and separating the ASIC invoice. We also have the solvency here as well. So solvency can be templated, edited, and worded in any way you would like. And we will, and then of course this is sent off for signing. A couple of other things to note is you do have the ability to change this from a resolution to a minute where it's possible. Of course, I'm the only director in this company where it needs signing, and we can change the template where needed as well. But we will use the default here. One other thing to note before we process the annual review is the little pen icon here. This indicates that there is a signing field, and the fact that it's green means that we're using our digital signing solution. In this case, we have our Fuse Sign digital signing turned on, and it means that we're going to be using that to sign these documents. So I'll go ahead and process this annual review. Select the agent as myself, save. Here we got our template. I won't go into too much detail in regards to our templates. But I will change the template that we are using to our modern one. Send all. So we have our template here that the client will receive. You can see the balance that's due with ASIC and the date we have here as well that's pulled, and that is based on the annual review date. We send this to the client, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the end. No, we will not. I'll turn electronic signing off for this purpose. No dramas, send all. Sorry, everybody. Perfect. So here we've just processed the annual review, and it has now been removed from our annual review screen. So things that are going on in the background at the moment are, if with the normal process of using digital signing, is that the document status will be updated. So we can go into the company here, we can look at the documents, and we can see our 480, and we can see it's been sent to the client. So I'll just jump into my email here, and we'll see that my annual review secretary and reviews come through. We have the pay now button, which takes the client directly to the post bill pay details. So the client can enter in their details to pay the ASIC fee. And of course, we've got the full package here. So we've got the annual company statement, if this wants to load, and the ASIC fee separated below. You do have the ability to remove the pay now button if you don't want your clients to go that way. That's another topic for discussion in our templates. However, we've just gone for the basic one with all the signing fields. Once that's been signed and comes back into CAS 360, the status of the document will be updated. And using FewSign, it will say that it has been completed. Now, the benefit of using digital signing in this process is purely this status option here. That means the automatic reminders will send to the clients whilst it's pending. So it's been sent to the client. We're waiting for the client to sign the document. Once it's complete, the status updates, and it will no longer send any of those automatic reminders to the client. Once we've completed that, the automatic reminders will kick in and you don't need to really worry about it, hopefully. Now, one other thing that we can talk about in ensuring that your data is up to date. So we're talking your client, your company list, or individual companies' data is up to date, is by preparing your RA61. So the RA61 will allow you to upload information on your CAS 360 database and the companies that are either under your agent or not under your agent. So the three bits of information this will pull through are companies in CAS 360 that you are an agent for, companies not in CAS 360 but you are the agent for, and third, companies in CAS 360 for which you are not the ASIC agent. And of course, with those ones, you'll get those failed annual review notifications. The benefit of this document, it does also include the annual review date. So you have a nice document that will indicate all that information that you need, and it allows you to kind of clean up your database. As you can see at the top here, for any of those with large databases, ASIC will only provide a return of data for a limit of 1,000 companies. So if you've got over 1,000 companies in your time period set, ASIC will reach out to us and tell us to ensure that you kind of reduce that time frame to ensure that it doesn't go over that limit. The other agent that form that we'll quickly talk about is the RA71. The RA71 is very, very useful for making sure that the data that ASIC have or CAS 360 has is correct. So if you do get that notification indicating that there's an annual review upcoming in 7 days, you might decide to run an RA71 to ensure that the data that you've got in CAS 360 is correct, or vice versa. Sorry, I'll just quickly check. Yep. So the bits of information that we can upload for the RS71 is a data download. So the data download allows us to upload the information directly from ASIC into CAS 360. So this is basically importing information from ASIC and overriding the data that's in CAS. You do have the ability to select what information that you want. So whether or not you just want to update the officer's details, the general details, shareholders' addresses, whatever it might be. But it is very important to note that when you do bring this data in from ASIC, you cannot reverse it, and we cannot not easily restore the information that was there. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, especially for the shareholder information, as ASIC only store the current balance. We have the reissue of the annual statement. So of course, if you've moved your companies recently from another provider, whether that's from a competitor or from the portal, and you've imported that company after its annual review date, you will need to reissue the annual statement to upload it into CAS 360. So a very useful request when you've just moved data in. This will then, of course, attach the ASIC annual review to the client for you to then process. And then lastly, the request of the company statement. So this is just getting a PDF document of the data that a PDF document of the data that ASIC store. So not what CAS 360 holds, but the data that ASIC currently have. And that allows you to then compare the information and make sure that you can update any 484s or general information prior to that annual review being processed. So we'll just very quickly touch on two other things. We do have an annual review listing report in CAS 360 as well. This allows you to generate data for annual review information to make sure that you've processed or collected annual reviews. Again, this isn't getting information from ASIC. This is a CAS 360 data-driven document. And you may use it to make sure that you haven't missed any annual reviews if you were moving to CAS 360 in a certain time period. So it's another useful little report there to process in CAS 360. And lastly, I will just very quickly touch on the automatic reminders that will assist your annual review process. So the annual review here, the debt reminder will send out to clients to remind them that they haven't paid their ASIC fee, and will also notify them when they have a late fee on top of that. Again, I believe Damien will go into more detail on this in our webinar tomorrow. And we also have our annual review document deadline. So this is a 6 reminder system that allows you to set up automatic reminders to send the documents to the client, resend those documents to your clients to make sure that they've signed the solvency, or if you're using our ASIC document, to sign that as well. And of course, it will remind them up to 6 times. Using digital signing, when that document gets signed, the automatic reminder will turn off for that signature. So that is an overview of our annual review process and a short introduction, I suppose, into the automatic reminders that will assist with that system. We'll just very quickly jump back into PowerPoint. Beautiful. So as mentioned earlier, there are 2 more webinars on for the next few days. We've got the Managing Trusts Efficiently, which is run by Peter. We'll go into a bit of a dive on how to get the trusts into CAS 360 and then processing any unit holder distributions, and also looking at discretionary trusts as well. We also have our enhancing compliance with BGL Smart Docs. So Smart Docs being inbuilt into CAS 360 will assist primarily with chasing debt, and also the automatic reminders. Just also to note, we do have a CorpSec 101 training course on our learning channel as well. It's a real good introduction into the CorpSec world, and will help any new people or any new staff in the world of CorpSec and go through the role and all those different documents that we've just kind of spoken about. So if you do have time, have a look at that to get a bit more of an in-depth look into CAS 360 and how it can assist with CorpSec.